everyone, my name is MJ and you are at my channel called Reading This Life. In this video, we are going to conduct an interview with KD Books. That's Kieran from KD Books. This is a part of an ongoing series that I have, which is created to help booktubers, especially booktubers that are just starting out, booktubers that may need a little advice or a little motivation, or may have some questions. So this really sprung out of my Support Small BookTube series that is held every single Sunday. And what I've been doing is I've been doing lives and asking booktuber friends, booktuber creators, to come on and get interviewed. And basically we ask the same questions to every single participant, just so we can learn their origin story and if they can pass on some sage advice to the rest of us. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, Kieran.
Shamai, hello.
How are you? It's great seeing you.
I'm very well.
How is everyone? How are you across the pond? You're over across the pond, correct?
Yeah, Wales.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's lovely and sunny out. It's not raining as it has been for about a week. So I've just been spending time in the garden.
Okay.
Doing gardeny things.
It took me a long time to figure out the difference, because what you call a garden, we call a yard here. So when people would say, your garden is huge, and I'm like, my vegetable garden's not big at all. We're talking about, my yard. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, everybody's getting their hands dirty. It's that time of year, right?
Yes, that is the time. Yeah, I live in a little terraced house. So the yard is like 3 meters by 3 meters, so it's not exceptional.
Yeah, but hey, a garden is a garden. You got to appreciate what you have, right?
So that's it.
All right.
That's it.
So let's get to know you a little bit. So for people that may not be familiar with your channel, people that may not be subscribed to your channel, and everyone, if you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. Tell us about your channel and how it all started.
So how it started was, well, I've had this channel for 12 years.
Okay.
But not making content revolving around book reviews. I used to do like little sketches when I was 16 with my mates. And then I started doing vlogging, and then my kids were born, and I was like, I should probably stop doing that. Because I didn't want them online. And I had been doing reviews on Facebook, just kind of very laissez-faire, just like, oh, this is what I have been reading.
Okay.
I was at university, so currently in the PhD space, but I was doing my undergrad, doing my master's, just kind of throwing out little book reviews of what I was doing. I wasn't really getting anywhere. No one I know reads, so they were all a bit like, yeah, okay, whatever, mate. And then, but yeah, it just decided it came to lockdown, and then I started watching some of the big names. So like Simon Savage, Eric Anderson, Supposedly Fun, Sean Bookmaniac, around that crowd. Okay. I just thought, yeah, I could do this. And I had just finished Hilary Mantel's The Mirror and the Light and thought, well, I'll take a camera on me and just crack this out. And then I've continued for 3 years.
That's awesome. So how has your channel, your channel has grown over 3 years.
Okay.
Did you, when you first started, did you have a specific goal or a vision in mind?
I think it was hit 1,000 by the end of the year. I think I started in May, June. I'm around the 4-year mark. But I was like, I hit 1,000 subscribers, and that was it. Okay.
Do you have a goal for your channel now?
I'd like to hit 10K by the end of the year. I don't know if that's achievable or not.
You never know.
It's possible, just because the way that everything accumulates quite quickly.
Yeah.
And for what I'm currently reading now, there's more. It's more evergreen than other stuff I review. So I think it's plausible. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not going to quit or anything.
Yeah.
But it was the 1,000 by the end of the year when I started. I was like, yeah, I got 6 months.
our goals change over time, right? Like when we're first starting, we're like, oh man, like that feeling that you get when you get that first subscriber. And you're like, now I have to be responsible and I have to create content because somebody is subscribed. And then once you hit that 1,000 mark, everything after that is kind of just like icing on the cake. That's my take on it, you know? And I'm like, when people find me, that's awesome. If people unsubscribe, hey, you know, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but you just keep moving in that forward direction, keep reading, keep creating content. I think that's the most important thing that we all need to keep in mind, right?
I don't know. Yes, to some degree. I think you have to keep creating.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you should just kind of just do what you want. I don't think.
Yeah. Oh no.
I've never really thought about for what the expectations are of other people of me. And I think from doing and watching YouTube, but I kind of watch YouTube growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had that thought of like I should do this, but I've how to word it. The expectation for me to maybe talk about some books is probably up there for some people, but I'm just not gonna do it.
No,
just because
you have to. My philosophy is you have to do you. I make the content that I would watch.
I think I do that. I think I do content that I would watch. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so when you first started your channel, specifically with BookTube in mind,
okay,
what were some of the biggest challenges or obstacles that you had to overcome?
Not to do the BookTube newbie tag as like the first resort.
Okay.
That was it. And then getting people's eyes on what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had kind of delved in because I was only watching about 6 people,
mm-hmm.
like religiously.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not saying that I do anything massively different, but there's a kind of formulaic, like this is kind of like the usual pattern of channels who are talking about books in regards to wrap-ups, in regards to TBR videos. So I was like, right, okay, so what is like the general consensus of the content that you have to make? But I think I probably spent maybe like a month before I started just watching BookTube content.
Okay.
Just like purely like the bread and butter, everything that I usually watch, parked aside, just watching continually. And then just decided what I liked and what I didn't like from that. And I think coming from that, like, because I never watched it, I didn't really have any preconceived notions of what it should be.
Yeah. And
I think my content does verge from the usual pattern. I'm still in line with it. Mm-hmm. But I think in regards to me like throwing bugs, rock kicking them, throwing them out windows, I think that's it's enough to make people be like, okay, this is a little bit different. And then I've just kind of let things be very laissez-faire. I don't script anything. Mm-hmm. I know I have like half hour, so I just come up, sit down, record. Yeah. If I think this is a stupid idea, it'll probably work. I'll probably work it out. So I don't spend more than an hour on a video in total. Nothing takes that much longer. Yeah. And I love the energy in your video. I just watched your Stella Maris review this morning. It was really good. I love that duology. Yeah. But like how many people, so like for me, I always have to think like how many people are going to watch a Cormac McCarthy video and expect the first mention to be Romeo and Juliet, which I think it is. Yeah. And it's just that sort of, okay, this guy's a little bit different from the very standard Cormac McCarthy reviews, of which I've watched a lot because I'm kind of going through his catalogue at the moment. Right. Just to kind of figure out like how do I stand out in that field. Mm-hmm. I suppose I've just kind of taken that road of what is usually the general pattern, and is there something I could do? I don't think you can all the time, but is there something I could do that would differentiate if someone was to come across me? Because I think that's how you get people to get eyes on you. Absolutely. Go, oh, this is a little bit different to what I've usually watched. Yeah, so I completely agree with you. I completely agree with everything you said. So what do you think is the best piece of advice that you learned from another booktuber? Whether by gleaning from their video or talking to them. I have ignored pretty much every single advice from people directly. So I'm not I'm not a good beacon on there. I suppose the best piece of advice I could do from a YouTuber in general I can give, because I basically do that, which is black pen, red pen. People probably don't know who this person is. He's an American guy who just does long form integral equations. Just like, this is an integral, let's figure out using calculus. And he did like 3 tips on what you should do. And he called it the WTF factor, because his microphone is like just some random object that he just attaches it to. And he says the amount of people who just comment on his microphone, he said, is enough to make him go, I'll just keep using ridiculous objects for my microphone. And that's what gets people, because they've come for the mathematical equation of how to figure it out.
Yeah.
But have somehow stayed and have more questions about the microphone than they do the math equation. So I suppose the advice was kind of like, okay, so what do I have to do to replicate that?
Yeah.
And therefore, when my wife bought a piano and I don't play the piano, I thought, I will shove this in if I feel I can and is necessary. And just kind of just those sort of elements of, I don't understand what I'm watching here. Like, this is just, the patter's different.
Yeah.
But in regards to what the biggest piece of advice I would give is, if to start, is never do tags.
Never.
I think they are the biggest channel killer. They're the biggest channel killers ever.
Really?
1,000%.
Okay.
Only because
I enjoy a little tag. I do.
They are good because you don't have to think about them.
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes you do. But in regards to what people will generally pick up on, so in regards to the BookTube newbie tag, you kind of export your thinking there. And it's quite nice to be like, okay, these are the types of books that that you like. But equally, I've already gleaned that just by looking, because most people will sit behind a bookcase. So I've already gleaned, like, okay, you're a sci-fi person, you're a fantasy person, you're a YA literary. I can glean that from the first 5 seconds. So I don't really need the BookTube newbie tag. And my BookTube newbie tag was basically a meme. I was just like, I have to do it to some degree, but I want people to click on it and be like, what is going on here? And most of the people who I've come across from the BookTube newbie tag, I've done it so left of center that I kind of, it's told me more about them, because I don't particularly care about the books at that point. But I think the problem that you get is, especially with the BookTube newbie tag or with other tags, where they generate a certain amount of traffic, and you get that from the oft, people will come for the tag, they'll subscribe, but they're not really interested in anything else you have to say. And because you haven't had to think about the content, so in regards to, say, like for me, if I'm doing book reviews, although I don't script, there's a certain effort of, okay, I got to kind of work this out, rather than where do you read? I don't have to think. I can just, when I sit on my sofa. So I think when you started off, I think try to avoid those as much as possible. Try and get the other content out that is more, that you have to put a little bit more effort in, rather than someone saying, can you answer these simple questions that are very generic.
Okay.
Also with tags, I think they're beneficial if you know other people. So I think if you do a tag video, at the end is, and I tag whoever, no one's watching you. There's no feedback through other creators in regards to, like, if you say you tag Criminoli, there's a bit of me going, okay, I'll check out who this person is. If you just throw it out to, like, well, anyone can. I don't think there's a concerted effort there. So when I've done tag videos, because I've created them, I have put a little bit of effort into those and tried to make them as vaguely interested as possible, because I want people to refer back to me. That's the ultimate decision of doing that.
Right.
So I think tags, if you start off and you don't really know anyone, I think you just get bogged down on answering questions that people don't really know, who you are, I don't know. I think some of them are a little bit more vapid in their response. So I think start off with the harder stuff.
Right.
And then once you've got people watching it, they're like, oh, okay, I kind of know who this person is. I kind of know their likes and interests. Then start to slowly integrate them. Because also, if you get a large influx of people, which the BookTube newbie tag definitely does, where a lot of people watch, a lot of people subscribe, YouTube's expecting for those people to come back. If they don't come back, it kills your channel.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right.
Because if you have 200 people coming from the BookTube newbie tag, which is very sought after, and then you review, think of something, Kieran, Burnt Sugar by Avni Doshi, the majority of people aren't interested in Avni Doshi's Burnt Sugar, as much as I would love it to be. So if you're 200 people and then say 30 come through, there's such a discrepancy there. The YouTube goes, okay, it's the second video. Whoop, let's push that away. Let's push someone else. So that's what I would say.
Okay, so let me just summarize that. So you would say to avoid tags, build momentum by doing book reviews, by talking about the actual books, you know, whatever, and then maybe tiptoe in.
Yes.
Okay, that makes
sense.
I
would say like 3 months.
Yeah, that
doing
makes
other
sense.
stuff and then start doing the tags.
Okay.
Because at least then if you have the BookTube newbie tag and you get a lot of traffic,
yeah,
there's a lot of back catalogue for people. They can go, oh, okay, now I can see what this other person's done. Am I willing to subscribe? Am I willing to stay around?
Yeah.
And that's more organic in growth, which I think is more important than a huge flurry of people who subscribe and then are never going to watch ever again.
I have an idea for you. Do you want it?
Go for it.
You should create the anti-tag tag.
I will happily do that. I will happily do that.
And then let it go viral. Honestly, I think that would be awesome.
I could do that.
There you go. Let's talk about the community aspect of BookTube. What does the BookTube community mean for you? Meaning your subscribers, your community, the rest of all of us, etc., etc.
PLEC. Yes. So I have my internet.
For everyone that doesn't know what that is.
It's an emotion, PLEC. Okay. That's the only way I can describe it. Once you understand PLEC, as people hear, you just know it. If there's a feeling in PLEC. It's also full of in-jokes, which I'm refusing to explain. But it's a feeling,
I was just going to ask. Okay.
It's a feeling, it's an emotion, PLEC. So yeah, PLEC are the people who support me through coffee. I pretty much speak to those people every single day. And yeah, we're all like mates. Like it's just become like just a really lovely place. It's a private Discord server where people predominantly don't talk about books or say that they're going to read and then come back in an hour's time saying what they cooked instead. So it's a book club where no one really reads. It's great, to be honest. Or just bullying people saying, well, why haven't you read X book by now? So if Owen's still here, has he finished The New Life? Because everyone's very invested in him trying to finish this book that he said. Or making fun of people because they said that in a big book era, you have to go in to read Steinbeck's The Pearl, which is very short. Yeah. So from that point of view, I think for PLEC has been, just great. It's just like mates hanging about.
That's awesome.
Just talking about anything. And it's very laissez-faire over at PLEC. In regards to the wider community, obviously I put a video out and I can't say it completely changed everything for me. So I don't have the greatest job in the world. And everything's really damn expensive. And I was just kind of seeing content creators who were like way bigger than me, who definitely are making like a lot of ad revenue. And I go abroad and kind of like, I've spent £400 on books. And I was just there going like, I don't know if I'm living in an alternate reality at the moment. Like there's no feasible way that I can do this. So I made a video just being like, look, I'm on like the scraps. Like I am scrapping myself through in the months. So I was like, I know it's going to get worse, but I can't be this person where I think the community at large is very I don't think it's a negative. It's very consumeristic. It's like, look how much I bought. Look how there's a whole other aspect to reading that brings people in. And the reason why I think that is that in regards to like haul videos on YouTube predominantly do very well. So I think in regards to like where makeup and beauty really kicked that off, that video for that word haul for YouTube is like a guaranteed money maker for them because they'll get more ads on it. That's what I think anyway. And I was just like, I can't do this. Kind of explained my situation.
Yeah.
And people who I had known through the comments, but also authors who I reviewed their books in regard to publishers, and other people through PayPal and through like super chats, almost kind of like flooded my bank account. So in regards to that, like I can't say, like I there's not enough. It's very humbling at that moment to think I am literally just some Welsh guy stuck in a box room, basically hating every book he reads, and kind of getting that kind of outpouring of support. But I think in regards to make it a broader, I think why YouTube is the platform of my choice rather than TikTok and Instagram. I think YouTube has always had that community aspect, even from other, again, I wasn't really in the book space and it really existed, but having that support network for other people that I've kind of dipped my toe in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think YouTube as a whole, and I think this just kind of trickles down, it is the best platform for that community aspect in regards to not just getting like an audience with eyes on you, but I think it has the best mode of interaction between people.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
I completely
I can't
agree.
speak highly enough.
Yeah, no, because I mean, a lot of the friendships that we make here are actual like friendships, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like the ones you would make in real life.
100%.
So let's talk about what are you reading right now? Now, I read completely differently than you, but sometimes we link on certain books, like Boulder is on my TBR, and then you just finished Stella Maris that I absolutely love. I've got Blood Meridian set up for next month. So tell us what you're reading right now.
I am reading. I've started Cormac McCarthy's The Crossing. I am reading The Tin Drum by Gunter Grass, over 100 pages in. And I'm about 100 pages into Killing Commendadore by Haruki Murakami at the moment. And I'm hoping to start I Am Legend soon.
Ooh, nice. Good.
So I read quite...
I like that. You read widely.
Yeah. I try to read as widely as possible. I don't know if I'm very good at it, but I try to.
That was a great representation that you just gave us, for sure. All right, so we're going to turn it over to our audience. Hello, everyone. We're going to go through some of the comments that came through. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Kieran, just leave us a comment down below. So let's check in with some people that stopped in. We've got Read by Fred. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Gareth from Book Songs and Other Magic. KD, I need to get that book you talked about in a video you did on Welsh books. Can't remember its name, but you said it was essential.
Rachel Tresize Easy Meat, I'm assuming. If not that one, it's going to be One Moonlit Night by Caradog Pritchard.
Okay. And Jim's books, reading and stuff. One Moonlit Night by Caradog Pritchard was the book he recommended. It is a fantastic read. We've got Thomas McCarthy. Hi from sunny Ireland. Williams Library. I try to minimize commitments to viewers. Right now I'm at 3 promises and that's too much. Yeah, I would not make very many commitments to viewers. You know, go with your own schedule. Gareth, that's it. Kieran. Kieran's channel really took off when he started throwing books and using props.
It's true. It's true.
We got a lot of PLECs happening here. PLEC. Shannon says, good morning. Everybody says, good morning. Let's see. Funny, though, the videos I put the most effort in get the lowest watches. Ha, ha, ha. Sometimes that's how it goes. Born Again Reader feels called out. Shannon says, I can't read any titles on either of your shelves. I find the newbie tag useful, but mostly just want to know what genres they read and get a sense of their personality. What do you think about the difference between personality and content? Do you watch more for YouTubers' personality or the content that they provide, or both? Both is, you know, the golden ticket.
So people are going to get eyes on you if you're talking about something that they want. Mm-hmm. So if I am to, let me have a look. Say I'm going to have, there we go. Because I know there's only one review. So I was looking at reviews for Stephen Baxter's Origin, which is like a hard sci-fi trilogy. I wanted to figure out what it was before I decided to get it. Mm. There was only one person. Now, I didn't really care about their personality because they were the only person speaking about it. So I think when it comes to book content, you have to strike that balance between you're not the product that people are looking for. They'll be the product that they will enjoy watching you, and in regards to your takes, in regards to your criticism, in regards to your the way that you talk, they'll stay for that reason. But the reason that they're going to come across you is through the product. Mm-hmm. So if you are a YA reader, you're probably going to be looking at, I don't know, like Lee Bardugo's new book that comes out. So it doesn't really matter who it is. It's just that's the only person you can watch. If you're dry as bones and not really entertaining, people just won't come back to watch you.
Yeah.
So I would say and this is the most difficult part, is the product has to be one that people will watch. Mm-hmm. Now, that's really difficult if you're someone like me who will review books that no one's reading. But then what I have to almost hope for is that the people who have stayed for me, because they've mostly come over from popular, well-read books or well-received books or classics, which generally have a wider readership, mm-hmm. that they will decide, okay, I'm interested in reading Ivo Andrić's Bosnian Chronicle. Like, let's see what that's all about. Mm-hmm. And then they'll be introduced to books that way. So I would say that the personality is important to keep people, but right. I think the product that you're putting out is vastly superior than yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I feel as if we're a conduit.
Yes, right? That is a really good word.
We're the conduit that is the in-between, if
yes.
that makes sense. Okay, yeah, and that conduit is important to making that connection with your viewers.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Al says, I'm shocked at how many people who are readers have no idea about Gutenberg, audiobooks, LibriVox, and libraries. Now, you don't do E, right? You're strictly physical.
I just prefer, I do a lot of work on screens. I know a lot of people, I did the video and everyone started kicking off. People were like, well, actually, but I just prefer reading off paper.
Yeah.
I've not had an ebook. Well, my wife had an ebook. This was before we got married. This was like maybe 8 years ago. I was like, nah, I'm not interested in this. I'll stick with my paper copies. Mm-hmm. That is just a preference. I don't think there's anything negative. People got really upset about it, like really upset that the video where it's like, I personally don't, that people took it as like this vendetta against. I was like, I don't particularly care. Similar to audiobooks, I like audiobooks if I can switch off. So I'll predominantly use Audible just for nonfiction. Yeah. If I have to concentrate on a plot, if I have to, so I'm normally listening to it if I'm like doing like chores around the house. Mm-hmm. And when I'm learning about the Mushroom Kingdom, there's not much plot about how mycelium works with trees. So I can dip in and out. Or if there's like a play, I'll kind of keep that on where, but if I was going to do something like, say like Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie, I've read it twice. But if I was to audiobook it, I probably wouldn't be able to keep up with it. Even though I kind of know the general plot of it, I still think I'd be a bit like, oh, wait, I'm a bit confused here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if it works for you, it works for you.
Absolutely. I'll tell you the best audiobook I listened to this year is Stella Maris. Best one.
Pure dialogue.
Because of the conversation. It was like tuning into some like Law and Order TV show and just watching, you know,
Yeah.
this closed thing. It was really, really well done.
Is it two voice actors for that, or is it?
It's two.
Yeah, no, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, and it's the same voice actress that was in The Passenger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I can see that being a good one.
So let's see. Okay, Garrett says, "Oh man, I Am Legend. Love that so much. One of my all-time favorites." Al says, "KD is new to me. I'm interested in how his reading is different as MJ mentioned his tastes."
I don't like anything, if I be honest. I think the golden nugget with people is when I find something that I enjoy and people go, "Whoa, hold up, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
I get a lot of people trying to figure out like what I like. I can't even answer it. I don't know.
Yeah. The best thing out is to subscribe and just, you know, you can find out for yourself. How's that?
That's it.
There you go.
If you go for if you go up the place for 10 out of 10s, that should give you like a rough idea, but they're all very different. So
yeah.
It's very Anthony Fantano. I nicked that 1000%.
Jess says, "What was the toughest book you read?"
Read and completed or read and failed? Probably Hegel's Phenomenology. Didn't understand it. Put it back. I've actually done a video on the books that killed me, basically. So Hegel's on there. That was ridiculous. Fiction wise, I cannot in any way make it past 70 pages of Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon. Can't do it. And another one, I don't know what happened in it. It was Umberto Eco's Foucault's Pendulum.
Oh,
that was one where I didn't know what was going on and why things were happening.
I've got recommended that. I read Umberto's Name of the Rose a couple of months ago, and everybody's really like, "Oh, you got to do the Pendulum one," and I'm like, "Okay, maybe."
I've read that. I've read Baudolino. I've read Prague Cemetery, and what's this other one? The Mysterious Flame of La something. Can't remember that. But yeah, Foucault's Pendulum, different level. That's a wholly. I think that was the book that he said that was the book he wanted to write. It's so high level, very technical. He's a semiotician, so it's very semiotics driven in regards to what the images represent and how that changes the story.
Very cerebral.
If you read up on Echo's, his essays are fantastic, but if you read up on his like idea of what semiotics is, it will help you in regards to Foucault's Pendulum. But he's just working on a different level. He's on about like the translations of like Old Latin and the semiotics of that as you translate them, and what does that mean for the Rosicrucians.
Wow.
Very different. But Hegel Pynchon.
There you go. Garrett says, "I'm the same. A physical book is the way to go away from screens, and I use them a lot as a teacher." Born Again Reader says, "I 100% understand the whole screen thing. I'm more into physical copies for the same reason." Marcel Miguel, "Hi, Kieran. What is your favorite brand of shoes?"
Marcel, thank you. In PLEC, the best brand of shoe is the Hoka.
What is that?
It's a brand of shoe. They're not PLEC accredited, but they are top-notch shoes. The Hokas.
The Hokas?
The Hokas. Yes.
All right. William says, "I cannot do audiobooks. I find myself more often tuning out or distracted. I need to watch your video on Hegel. Missed that one. What time travel books have you enjoyed, Kieran?"
Time travel books. Probably the best one is the short story All You Zombies by Robert A. Heinlein, which I did in university. It's great. There's also the film, I believe it is called, it's Premonition or Predestination. I can't remember. But it's about a person turns up at a bar and speaks to the barman. And then there's a lot, it's not intricate, it's very cleverly done time travel, which I think has a very nice, rounded off and very cyclical nature of what is currently happening to the character and the bartender. But I have not read much. I've read Philip K. Dick's I Think Ubik counts as a title. I didn't understand a single word of that one. And then I think Slaughterhouse 5. I don't like Slaughterhouse 5 at all.
Yeah.
I think it's Vonnegut's weakest. No, Timequake is Vonnegut's weakest. Oh, that's another time travel one. Kurt Vonnegut just needs to stop doing that. And Breakfast of Champions, that has time travel. If Kurt Vonnegut does time travel, no. So I'm going to stick with Robert A. Heinlein.
Okay. Let's see. Jess asks, what book had a reflection on your own life? It could be a character or plot.
Easy Meat by Rachel Tresice. Because well, it was written in 2020 or 2021, if I believe. It's set in the town, like in a nearby town that I grew up in. And Rachel Tresice is from like the village over from where I grew up. I'm just talking about the Welsh South Valleys. Yeah. So it's basically all the people I know and the apoliticalness of the valleys, where it kind of doesn't really matter because you get screwed both ways.
Okay.
So that I would say.
Nice. Let's see. Alan says, 2 of my favorite novels, Gravity's Rainbow and Foucault's Pendulum. A lot of Kabbalah in that.
There is a lot of Kabbalah in that. But fun fact, oh, this person's going to love this. Right, there's a whole story here. So, my wife worked at a coffee shop.
Uh-huh.
And this guy came in and was like, I need to give this to you. He's like, I don't know why, I've just been told I need to give this to you. She was
told
a bit like,
by someone or told by his...
Some random person just walked in and said this. And he passed her the Zohar, which is like the Kabbalist text.
Yes.
But she's not Jewish. So she thought that I had set this up. And I was like, no. But yeah, it's a completely it's this.
Yeah.
And I don't read Hebrew or speak it. So I have the Kabbalist text and I'm too petrified to do anything with it. So I've just kept it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my wife, she was like, who is this person?
That's
I was like,
so
I
random.
don't know. It's very, very weird. But yeah, he just came in with a suitcase and this was the only thing in it. I just listened to it. I was like, I just need to give it to you. I was like, well, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I owned from the Kabbalah Center the Zohar.
There you
go. It's like a proper copy. It's like leather bound.
It's nice.
I don't know why he gave it to her. And she's still confused.
There
she
you
was
go.
like, oh, let's give it away. I was like, you can't.
No.
Like, you don't mess with that.
No,
we're keeping it.
That's bad juju. You got to hold on to it. Right?
So I've never read it. Don't particularly understand the Kabbalah or anything Kabbalist.
Jewish mysticism,
I just,
Yeah. Let's see. Alan says The Mysterious Flame of Queen Loana.
That's the one.
By Echo. William said, I've read one time travel story, Empire of Lies by Raymond Corey.
I'm really trying to think of what I've read this time travel. Robert A. Heinlein is the only one that comes up to me. But yeah, I'll stick with that. Yeah, I've got a good. I don't think I've read much. No.
Okay. Garrett says, Ubik is crazy. LOL. Timequake annoyed me.
Mm-hmm.
Alan says, Kilgore Trout rules.
He does not. Kilgore Trout he does not rule in any way, shape, or form. He's the most annoying character the Vonnegut decided to plague upon us.
Garrett says, for me, Timequake was a great example of an author rambling without a compass.
Yeah. It's got to be one of the worst books I've ever read, Timequake.
William says, I'll add Timeline by Michael Crichton to my wish list. Alan's impressed with your Zohar. Emily Reeves says, hey. Upgrade Your Book says, howdy, KB Books.
Howdy.
Shannon says, maybe he was hitting on her by giving her a copy of the Zohar.
I mean, if that's I'd be down for that. I'd be like, yeah, that's a way. I've never seen that used before.
Yeah.
But I think it's a valid pickup line. Here's a Zohar.
Latasha Haynes popping in, stopping in to say hi. I enjoyed Recursion by Blake Crouch for a time travel book. I haven't read much time travel, though. Jim says The Time Traveler's Wife was a fascinating story. Al says they use the semantics of Kabbalah to be synergistic. Pretty sure those who know do not say. Ooh. Al's very much into metaphysics, and his whole channel is dedicated to stuff like that, which is really interesting. Jim says, Behold the Man by Michael Moorcock could be my favorite time travel book. Have you read Michael Moorcock before?
Never heard of the name.
Okay.
My sci-fi is very lacking. I'll be completely honest. It's very, very lacking.
Upgrade your books, KD. I know you love Rushdie.
I do love Rushdie.
We all know
thoroughly enjoy Rushdie.
Oh, this has been great. Any more questions for Kieran? Feel free to ask. Any more BookTube questions in general? Kieran, let me ask you. You throw in some shorts every once in a while. How do you feel about YouTube?
I think you have to do it for the algorithm, and that's like as far as I will go. Yeah. I just kind of placate what YouTube wants.
Right.
It's difficult. It's difficult because the content that I do does not work in short. People do it. I think it's very vapid to do shorts. A lot of people are like, oh, this is a great science fiction book. It's this one, and you're like, oh, okay, great. And I also find shorts feeds on you almost have to be dictated by the repetitiveness of what has worked before. So when I scroll through short, I don't know how many times I have seen the same sturdy dance in New York City Center by the exact same people, and they have like millions of views, and they are just doing the same thing over and over again. Even like the guy who has like the water balloons and he just pokes them in relation to songs. I don't get it. It's something. I think something's funny for the first 4 times.
Right.
So when I've done that, I'm like, I could do 4 of these, and then I'm done. I'm like, this is old. But I think short feeds that almost. Can you do the same thing ad nauseum until people? But people seem to watch it all the time.
Right.
I've watched these same people do the exact same. I know what's happening.
Yeah. But
yet I'm still compelled to just watch the same people do the exact same things and somehow be surprised.
Right.
So I do it to placate. I think they're very important. I think you'll overtake TikTok, YouTube Shorts, 1000%, especially when the ad revenue. I think they've sorted it out now. I think it's like 2 months ago. I think that will change because TikTok has like a pot and YouTube doesn't. So I think more people will migrate over or just start posting separately there.
Now let me ask, do you originate your shorts over at TikTok and then pull them over to YouTube Shorts, or do you use TikTok at all regarding the same content?
I used TikTok 5 times and I was like, this is way too much work. So I just do it through
shorts.
The shorts. Wait, like you get your phone and say record. Or I just do it there and then and pop it out. But equally, every time I have done a short, I get way more subscribers than a video.
Yeah.
I think when I started doing them, I think again, very low effort. They're not in any way, shape, or form entertaining in the slightest. I was getting like 30 people. I didn't understand I didn't know where they were coming from. But 30 people were like, oh, I'll subscribe to this.
Yeah. It's pretty, and it's mind blowing too. Like the amount of shorts that get uploaded, like the amount of subscribers on YouTube is mind blowing. It really, really is. Like there's like what, 1 billion views on the platform every single day. It's nuts.
Probably. Yeah. But again, there's that worry for me, especially with shorts, is that if you'll get down a rabbit hole of like, oh, this works, and then you just have to do it ad nauseum, and I physically cannot do that. I shan't. I can't.
Let's see. Jess says, I have The Time Traveler's Wife. Upgrade your books. Wondering if you feel Victory City was the best of his last 4, or is it Quixote?
Quixote.
Or Quixote.
Rushdie puts right at the beginning of this how you say it. He's very pedantic like that, so I do apologize. His last 4. So his last 4 would have been Victory City, Keyshot, was it The Ground Beneath Her Feet? And I'm trying to think what the last 4 novels would have been. Keyshot's very strong. Unless I'm forgetting one. Unless it's like The Moore's Last Sigh. That could probably overtake it.
Okay.
But I think The Moore's Last Sigh was, I think I was an early 2000s book. I should know this off by heart, but I don't. But Keyshot is very strong. Victory City was very mid, very safe for Rushdie. I think it was very... sorry, he's commented. I thought 2028. 2 years, 8 months, and 28 days. That's good. It's not as good as Keyshot.
Okay. Let's see. William has an interesting question. Have you or do you plan to host a reading event? What are your thoughts on BookTube reading events?
What's a BookTube reading event?
Like June on the Range is coming up in June for like Westerns. There's Horror Mayhem going on now. Like the themed reading month things.
Like
a Rushdie Con.
I used to do it for Booker. I probably won't do Booker this year. I used to do them. I would love to say I like planning, and it would be nice to be like, I am going to read this thing. But I've done it with Olga Tatarchuk. So we did over on PLEC Bodge books of Jakob. So we all read that. And kind of I put out little reviews as and when, and then the whole review that you saw was like a condensed version of everything I had done over there. We tried to do it with Kin by Miljankovic. Miljanko Jugovic. Everyone bailed on that. It was impressive how much we bailed over a PLEC. And I tried to do it for Wolf Hall again. I don't know if people were that interested. But I know if I say I am going to read like only science fiction, these are the science fiction books I'm going to read, I guarantee we'll read one and decide, you know where I need to read? Rohinton Mystery next. I'm not very good with sticking to a schedule. Anytime anyone has said, would you like to read X, Y, Z with me? I say yes and instantly regret it. I have one actually with Roisin. I gotta read A.S. Byatt's Possession by the end of next month, and I've not picked it up because I'm being stubborn. So I do have to read that.
Yeah.
So if Roisin's watching, I will. I just haven't picked it up. So probably no. I might do one for sci-fi, but it'll be very laissez-faire and very much like, I should probably just read these just to say I've read them.
So do you consider yourself a mood reader?
If I be honest, I don't really know what that means. I've tried to watch videos. I think people really overcomplicate it. I will. I basically, I'll come up. I'll go. Oh, I should probably read that, and then I pick it up. There's not much thought. I'm just like, I probably should. Yeah. So I'm reading like Flowers for Algernon. I finished Flowers for Algernon, and I read it because I was like, I probably should read. I should just pick that up. There wasn't any thought about it. I know when I did the Arcadian Barris, Strugatsky, Hard to Be a God. Someone was like, why are you reading 1960s Soviet science fiction all of a sudden? And I didn't comment back, but I should have just been like, there's no thought in this. I don't know what I am. I'm just kind of like, I should probably pick that up.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you're not a TBR person.
I like to vaguely know if I have to read something. But even if I do, I just prefer the like, I'll pick something else.
I like the freedom. I'm a mood reader, 110%. I like the freedom of being able to put a book down and grab something else if I'm into it. Yeah. Aaron Hook says, Time Machine by H.G. Wells is worth a read. Jim asks, have you ever read Under Milkwood yet by Dylan Thomas?
I've not. I got it downstairs. I got it here. I have got it here. And I was going to read it in... I did Welsh fiction for March because it's the Welsh National Month. I do events. Gosh darn it. There we go. But I'm a Welsh nationalist, so I probably was going to do that anyway. I nearly got around to it, and it got closer to April. I thought, I'll read something else now. So I didn't manage to read those. I didn't manage to read all of Cudden Jones. So for next year, they will be Dylan Thomas and they will be Conan Jones.
There you go.
I promise that.
Nice. Alan says, love listening to that. Jim says, I get that Times Square dance when I am scrolling is short.
Yes.
It gets a little tiring after a couple of views.
And now it's like, I bet you can't 10-truple it, and they got the same 10 people on a video. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Or, I mean, most of my shorts is just full of like really cringe people doing really cringe things.
Yeah.
But they're on like 2 million views, making oodles of money. So maybe I'm the idiot in this one. But yeah.
Al says creativity must be divorced from the marketplace. Needs and Joyce, otherwise we risk denaturing our truth. Al comes in with some thinkers a lot. Alan, my son's middle name is Dylan Thomas.
Look at that.
Garrett says, I've done 2 videos on time travel, but there's still tons more out there. It's a very popular narrative device. I love it. Shannon says, yes, great quote. Christopher Evenstar, all good jokes need to be told 1,000 times. They must know in their souls. Kieran, who would you say was your top 3 authors that you get excited about? Top 3.
They're probably going to be alive, aren't they? Because I can't really get excited for anyone dead. Salman Rushdie, Audie Sash, and probably J.M. Kutsaya, saying that maybe Donna Tartt, because she drops one every like a decade
20 years.
and a bit. So we're probably expecting a new one. I'll probably be excited for that, even though I didn't like the Goldfinch. I only like the Little Friend, which no one likes. It's the best though. But yeah. I'd probably say J.M. Kutsaya, maybe Donna Tartt just below there, Audrey Sash, and Salman Rushdie.
Okay. Al says the content must be the audience is McLuhan's favorite quote. Authenticity is the most marketable quality, but also the easiest to sell out. Upgrade Your Book says 1001 Nights.
Yes.
Garrett says, like that quote. Art and lit matters. Jim books, reading and stuff. Dylan Thomas just seizes my heart and stays there. I love listening to the many recordings of him reading his work. It almost brings his living presence into the room. Aaron read a book. Yes, did Les Mis. That was fun. Al says, to cure the issue of one book leading to another, I keep a separate habit, one planned and one mood reading. That's a good way to look at it. Loves flowers. Quick question about presenting. You have great energy on camera. I'm jelly. Do you caffeine up beforehand, or are you always that electric?
I have 2 kids and I now have a puppy, so I'm constantly I've had it for a week today.
Oh,
Blodwen, she's lovely little Blod. So I normally am caffeined. I only have about 30 minutes generally to do a video, and then mostly in my lunch break during work. Or if I've just finished work, I probably have about 40 minutes before I have to like pick up my daughter from nursery. So it's kind of like I have to do it now, which is why I don't script anything, because that time could change anywhere. And I think a script sometimes can disturb a flow of presented, especially when you're trying to talk about general themes and segueing into little jokes or move in from characters to kind of script that. I think you can make it a little bit stagnant. So I think some of the presentation that I have is more natural because I haven't planned anything out. I don't have. I watched your interview with like Criminal. He says he writes down roughly what he does. I don't even do that. I just sit down. I'm like, okay, we're going to talk about Flowers Fowl. We're going to talk about Stella Maris. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So it's very unfettered because I'm kind of crunched on the time. But I know if I don't do it in that one session, the book's not getting reviewed. It's too late.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a drama degree, if that means anything to some people, but I don't think it does. But I think if you're trying to get people in, sitting down and being very monotone, But then you have Penguin Zero. Everyone knows Charlie from Penguins. He's very monotone, just sits there and does absolutely nothing. So maybe it does work. But I think you want to get people captivated, even if you like the book or even if you don't. And I think one of the most difficult ones is trying to navigate that space when you're a bit tepid on a book, to try and figure out, okay, how do I not market the book, but how do I sell it to people so even if I don't like it, or even if I do like it, the people can make an informed decision. And I think kind of get people's attention of, okay, he's going to talk about, I'll use the Bosnian Chronicle by Ivo Andrić, like to read like a 1940s Bosnian tale about the Bosnian drama, the Bosnian War, not Bosnian War, about the Balkans, sorry. A Bosnian book about the Balkans and the French coming in, the Austrians wanted to kind of separate it. It's quite a dull, boring topic for most people. So it's kind of like, well, how do you get people engaged in that?
Right.
And I'm not trying to say ham it up a little bit, but there's a little bit more. I think you kind of have to work more with some books than you do with others. So, like with, I just did one Q84 by Murakami, and I personally, I think I'm very tepid throughout all of that, because I kind of know there's a lot of people who will watch it. I don't really have to sell it as much because it's one of his most famous books. Most people have read it, and most people kind of know what they're getting into with Murakami. So I don't really have to do as much as, say, when I do Corrado Pritchard's One Moonlit Light, which not many people know about. I kind of want people to be like, oh, okay, he's mentioned this book before, let's click on this. And I think it's a bit more punchy in that aspect.
Yeah.
But I also think editing is a lifesaver. So I edit. There's not many times I will have 20 seconds of uncut footage. Everything moves quite quickly with me. And I think that emphasizes that aspect, even if I'm not like that as I'm talking to the camera. You can blur that line a little bit more.
Right. Let me ask you, how long, so average to film a video, average to edit a video, average time for a thumbnail and title, what do you think?
So recording about 20 minutes to an hour, say, recorded. I'll edit it that night. And I start from the beginning and I edit literally just as I go.
Right.
So whatever, if say it's like a half-hour video, just makes sense. I'll cut that down. That normally gets cut down to 10 minutes. Just one watch through. So that's half hour. Call it by the time you edit it out. Briefly, I use iMovie. I'm not technical in any way, shape, or form. And I can see where the gaps are. So I can skip long swathes.
Yeah.
So I'll do it all in one day. So I kind of know the pattern of how I worded, or where I went, okay, no, we got to stop here. So sometimes I'll stop the camera, restart it again, just to have that break. So I can cut out swathes of review quite quickly.
Right.
So I cut down to 10 minutes, and then I'll do one scour through again, and I try to take off at least another 2 minutes to really condense it down.
Okay.
So call that an hour. Upload it. Before I start a video, now I do the thumbnail as it's recording. And then title is always book by author, book review. Don't overcomplicate it.
Right.
Thumbnail's pretty. It's just that screenshot in iMovie of just me standing still, holding the book, and then I normally will just shove like one word or like a little phrase, just so people can be like, yeah. It's mostly if people have read the book, they'll know the reference, or if you've not read the book, when I explain it in the video, you go, oh, that's why he's done it. I don't think people do that, but that's what I like to think anyway. So like with Cormac McCarthy's Stella Maris to say, so it's The Shape of Things to Come, and at the end of the video, it's about that because she gives up on topology, which is about shapes, and she decides like she can't ascertain that, and then I relate it to death. which is what basically the book's about. So I like for people to be like, oh, okay, I see what he's kind of going with here.
Okay.
From there. And then description, I don't spend much time on at all. I probably spend 10 seconds doing an entire description.
Okay.
Because I plug it into ChatGPT and change it.
Okay. Do you use ChatGPT a lot?
I only started doing it for video descriptions, and it was the quickest thing ever.
Nice.
And I thought, that's all I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And it just says, this is the book, this is when it came out, this is the author. Katie Books talks about like the characters' themes, and I just add what the themes are. Like, subscribe. I just copy paste it, stick it in, done.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Absolutely.
So I use ChatGPT for descriptions, but basically my descriptions beforehand are always copy paste the title into the top, and then a general kind of this book by this author came out in XYZ, and then maybe some snide remark about it, ... And that's kind of it. So I don't spend much time. In regards to tags, they're basically all iterations of like Cormac McCarthy, The Passenger, Cormac McCarthy, The Passenger book, The Passenger book review, The Passenger book, Cormac McCarthy. And I use vidIQ, that kind of gives you like a rough number of where you come up in searches, which is free, and it's really frustrating, and I hate it. But it kind of gives me an idea of like where I should be, or especially like for videos like my Satanic Verses video, I kind of want to know where I come up in searches for the Satanic Verses. I'm pretty much always in the top 10 now.
Right. Nice.
So,
nice.
But if there's other books where I think like I probably should be higher, I will normally just log back in on the computer, kind of just see roughly where I come up. But if you are to go on vidIQ, just get the free package. Don't buy anything else. You can only see those rankings once the video is live.
Correct.
And they change after 24 hours.
Right.
So the next day, just kind of go through. But I don't spend much time on the aftercare.
Yeah, I use the vidIQ too, and I find it to be helpful for sure with tags and all that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Flowers, another one of my all-time favorites. William said I should make that joke short I've been thinking about. Yeah, you should. Haruki Murakami art. Oh, I hope I'm not too late. Do you know? I
got an interview with him. I got an interview with him next Friday.
There you go. Nice.
Mr. How are we doing? Guten Tag.
I have a phobia about Haruki Murakami.
How so?
I'm just nervous to read him.
He's not as bad as that. He's everything you've heard. Personally, I think is a hyperbole.
Okay.
Apart from 1Q84 is everything that everyone says. I think people have kind of copy and pasted that onto all of the other books. I've read Norwegian Wood, I'm reading Killer Commandadore, 1Q84. He's not as bad as people make out. There's a bit of me that's like, okay, I can kind of see why people would be like, shake fist. It's not as 1Q84 is quite.
He just seems kind of daunting to me. I have Kafka on the Shore on my shelf for like.
Oh, he's very readable. He's like very readable.
7 years. I read his book on running, but that's about it.
Did you like that?
I did because I was a runner, so I understood it.
All of his style is very much like that. From the books that I've read, and the colorist Suzuki Sasaki, Tsuru Sasaki. It's very buttery smooth. It's very easy to read him. He's not that. I would maybe don't do Norwegian Wood or 1Q84. I think maybe try the other ones. Try I have not read Kafka, but
baby steps. I'm going to do baby steps.
Could do that. It's very good.
Celeste says hello. We're saying hello. Well, keep it up. It makes you a delight to visit through the screen. That was regarding your energy.
Yes.
Aaron read a book. I don't know if you said, but what program do people use for editing?
I just use iMovie because it's on the MacBook.
Yeah, I use LumaFusion. It was a pay one price forever, and you get all the updates and upgrades, and that's what I taught myself with. So,
for my earliest videos, because I know people panic about this, all of it was done through my phone.
Yeah. Oh, I do everything from my phone.
So I did. Yeah, my editing, my video recorded. I used the front camera. I know, very bougie. I just did that.
Yeah. That's what I do now.
Yeah. Yeah, I use the MacBook. It's got iMovie on there. I would never pay any money to do Final Cut. I think for what I do, there's literally 0 point.
Yeah, I completely agree. Chatty says, hello, I made it to 1. Kieran says, hello. Yeah, looking forward. Oh, Kafka in the Shore is a good entry point for Murakami. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Can't wait to have the talk with you. And that's going to be when? Next week?
I'm doing it on Friday.
Nice.
I don't know if it's a live stream, actually. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it will be on 1Q84.
Wonderful. Let's see. I leave quotes that agree with the guest views or comments. Somehow, with the delay, they lose the relevance. Sorry, I can't get to them fast enough. All right. Well, this has been excellent. Does anybody else have any final questions? We're going to wrap it up. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Again, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with us. Thanks for going through the questions and being an awesome, awesome channel to keep up with, to subscribe, to watch your reviews. Great energy, you know, and I wish you all the continued success for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. And PLEC.
PLEC. Yes. PLEC.
We will get it down. They say, no live stream. It will be a podcast solely about 1Q84.
I'm just turning up. That's all I'm doing. I'm turning up and talking.
There you go. Thanks for the share. I enjoy the alternative views. That is a YouTube thing, not the host. You do fab. And then we got a plaque. Wonderful. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you are having a great day wherever you are. Make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. Thank you for everyone that's watching on the replay. We're sorry you couldn't make it, but we're so glad that you're here. If you have not subscribed to Kieran's channel, I will leave his channel linked down below. And, you know, we'll see you in our next videos. All right, everyone. Goodbye for now. Have a great day. That interview was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. So that's it here from me. I hope you are all doing well. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. And I will see you in my next video, whether that be sooner or later. So until next time, everyone, goodbye for now.